Matt Piche, real estate investor, certified carpenter, RE/MAX realtor in KW Cambridge, specializing in single-family investment properties. Now, you were working at a job that you discovered later on that you really didn't like the 9-to-5 rat race, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
But you had two special mentors in your life. Tell us about that.
Yeah, they pretty much taught me the whole craft during my apprenticeship, so I learned a lot from them really quick. But looking around at my parents and people I was working with and my friends' parents, that everybody was doing the same thing, and I was getting up at 7, going to work, coming home at 5, eating dinner, going to bed, and repeat. And I knew that was something I could not do for the rest of my life. So.
Well, a lot of people are in that school, Matt.
For sure.
How did you discover so young that it just wasn't, you were 20 years old, you were working at your skilled craft in carpentry, doing what you love, you get into some renovations, and then you just thought, no way, you called it yourself a rat race. So that happened to you pretty young. How do you think that evolved for you so young when it takes some of us a few decades to get there?
Yeah, I've always been so independent. Like I said, when I was doing my apprenticeship, I was alone a lot of the time, so I was able to work on my own, and I knew that being on my own, I could probably make more money, but also be more in control of my life, my schedule. So that was something I came across me. So yeah, even at the age of 18, 19, I realized, man, there's no way I can do this for the next 40, 50 years like my parents did and their parents did, and yeah, I just had to get out of that.
Excellent. And you bought your first investment property on your 22nd birthday.
Yes.
Now, did you make a conscious decision to make that purchase specifically on your birthday?
No, it just lined up that way. The offer was accepted on my 22nd birthday, and then we closed about a month after that. So it was a good time, just good timing. It just happened that way.
Oh, come on, Matt. You know that nothing just happens. There are really no coincidences in life.
Yeah.
So you packed up that backbreaking work of renovation, and you decided to sell real estate. So why did you decide you wanted to sell real estate? Did you think it was going to be lucrative at that point?
Yeah. The biggest thing was that when I bought that property, I was in my last course for my apprenticeship of carpentry. So I bought the property. So I was in school, and the same month the property closed, that November, I quit my job and started my own business renovating properties just for investors. So I did that for about a year and a half or so, and I met a lot of investors during that business, and that's when I knew I was going to sell real estate, because they were all having the same problem, was that they couldn't find a real estate agent who actually knew the business but knew houses and how to renovate them properly. So I figured I would sort of fill the need, and I did want to still get out of the carpentry, even being my own business in carpentry, which was still nice, but I knew I wanted more, so it was a perfect fit. So I transitioned to being a realtor.
Walk me through some of the first steps for me as a new investor.
Yeah, some of the first steps would be to definitely specialize in one area. So that's something that I tell lots of people. You have to specialize in one area, like one town specifically, and then even break it down even more to one neighborhood within that town to really become the expert and know what the properties are selling for, what they rent for. So when something comes up in your target neighborhood, you know if it's a good deal or not before anybody else. So that's something I really tell people. And then specialize in a type of investment property that fits their lifestyle. So that's a big one too. So a lot of people call me, they work 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. They don't have time to deal with tenant phone calls or fixing toilets, all that stuff. And they always say, oh, well, I want to flip houses or I want to deal with student rentals. Well, something like that would take a lot of time or a lot of risk, so that might not fit for that type of person. So that type of person might want to go towards single family where there's less stress. So it's really fitting the investment with your lifestyle first, then moving out and looking.
So there is definitely, you think, a best type, like a better type of property to invest in. What makes it better than another type of investment property? Yeah,
so there's no such thing, I think, as a best type of property to invest in. It's what's the best type of property for you. So, like for me, I specialize in single family, even for my own properties. So I like to have a stress-free lifestyle. Some people like to take a little more risk. So maybe they want to deal with a student rental, or they have more time to deal with phone calls or repairs. So maybe they'll go into multifamily. So that investment might not work for some other people, right?
So you're really a counselor as well, aren't you?
Yeah, it comes with the business, yeah.
And so I know a lot of people I talk to, Matt, they love the idea of real estate investing. I think over the years, it's probably certainly had a better return than most registered retirement savings plans, RRSPs. RRSPs, I think you're lucky to get somewhere between 3 and 6% over a good decade, whereas over the past few decades, even if you take the real estate slumps that Ontario specifically has had, I think if you averaged out over the entire decade, once you get over those molehills, it's about a 9-10% return on your investment. Do you think that's accurate?
Yeah, it could be that high, Yeah, like the market here in Kitchener-Waterloo, it's safe to say that it goes up 3 to 4% per year, right? So that's not even, that's just appreciation. So that's not including your cash flow every month. That's not including your mortgage pay down every month. So when you add all those things up, you could easily be, well, around 9-10% for sure.
That's fantastic. We're in conversation today with Matt Piche. He's a real estate investor. He's also a certified carpenter. And he just happens to be a RE/MAX realtor in KW in Cambridge. He specializes in single-family investment properties. So I know you've got a lot of questions to ask, Matt. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will hear more from Matt Piche. Welcome back to the Good News Only. We're in conversation with Matt Piche today, who is a certified carpenter and a successful real estate investor. He's a RE/MAX realtor in KW in Cambridge, and he is only 24 years old. Matt, do you hear from a lot of people that you are so wise for such youth?
Yeah, I hear that a lot, yeah.
So what would you think about a new investor who is a little bit afraid of getting into a tenant situation? Because I think, we've all heard nightmare stories of tenants who they move into a property and they wreck the place and leave you with the cost of having to re-renovate. So what do you think is the secret to attracting a good quality tenant?
Yeah, that's a common story. That's the big fear, right? Everybody's afraid to get a tenant for that reason. Ways you can avoid stuff like that is to have a property manager you trust who's checking up on the property every month minimum, going there and walking through the property, taking care of repairs. That way there it gives them an opportunity to check up on the tenants and see what they're doing with the property. So oftentimes when you hear the story of the tenants breaking the house and running off, that normally happens when somebody doesn't go at all or for a long period of time. So most of the time it's actually the landlord's fault when stuff like that happens. But there are times when tenants do stuff, right? It's part of the business.
So when you're setting up a relationship with a property management company, how much of the profit is the property management company going to be taking from that monthly income?
Yeah, so normally it's about 5 to 8% of the rent. So you're looking around there. If you want to do more service, if you want them to go more often or do more thorough checks, that might be a little bit extra. But it really depends on the property manager, and they'll give you opportunities to have sort of like a custom plan. So it's very negotiable. So you can kind of set up something that's comfortable with you. So.
Well, that's not bad. And, of course, it's important to do all the background checks and everything. Do you recommend that people do that themselves, or are there resources to have that done for you? And, again, is there a cost involved?
Yeah, the property manager will normally do that. Normally when you're trying to rent a property out, it'll be 1 month's rent, or sometimes they even charge you more than that. But it's normally 1 month's rent. That includes the background check, reference checks for their employers, the old landlord, stuff like that. So that's included. But I always recommend that for a new investor who only has 1 or 2 properties, it may be a good idea to manage it themselves, even for a little while, just so they know what the business is like. It teaches them the ropes. And then once they get really sick of it, then they can pass it off.
So if I were to find a property that was, it had good bones, so to speak, the structure was good, the foundation was good, but it was just a lot of cosmetic stuff. You as my realtor, could I actually hire you to do the renovations as well? And how does that work?
It depends, yeah. So I still do work, but only for my clients. And it depends on the job. I mean, I don't do the full-out jobs anymore. It has to be like a really quick 2 or 3 day thing. But I have other guys that I use for renovations. But, yeah, it depends. I still do work for some of my clients.
We're in conversation with Matt Piche today, who is a certified carpenter and a successful real estate investor. He is a realtor with RE/MAX in KW in Cambridge, specializing in single-family investment properties. And before he became a realtor, he had a business renovating properties strictly for investors. So you're kind of the full package. You really know what you're talking about, Matt. You saw a niche in this industry, and you filled it. That's fantastic. Are you happy with your decision?
Yeah, I love it. It's amazing. It's the best choice I ever made. So I love working with investors and dealing with real estate and making people's goals come true and happen. So I'm proud to help people do that.
And do you think there's a direct correlation or relationship between happiness and success?
Yeah, I think everybody has their own definition of success. For me, it's less stress and less chaos in my life. That's success to me. So continually working towards the ultimate success, but I'm sure everybody has their own definition. So money isn't necessarily success. It's what the money can provide. So money provides not having to have a job. So having passive income from cash flowing properties can eliminate having to go to work. So to me, that's success. But everybody's going to have their own definition, right?
We are in conversation with Matt Piche today, a certified carpenter and successful real estate investor. Matt Piche is someone who is finally living his passion, his purpose, something I think that we all strive to do in our lives. Matt comes from a history of craftsmanship. Carpentry was in his blood from early childhood, and he perfected his craft over the years with the help of very special mentors, and he's growing a very successful business. He bought his first house at 22, and he's now just 24. So definitely, if you're interested in investing in real estate with a realtor who really understands and appreciates the business of real estate investing, you can contact Matt Piche. He has a fantastic website, too, kwpropertypro.com. How did that come about for you, Matt, that kwpropertypro.com? It's so difficult to even come up with a catchy domain name these days. So how did that come about for you?
Yeah, there's really no secret to that. It just kind of came. I have no crazy story for that one. It just happened.
And you put it all together yourself. Now, is it a website or a blog?
It's a website. It's a website, but I do blog fairly often on there. It's all my own blog, my own writing. So.
Okay, and what do we find when we go there?
Tips and strategies how to invest like a sophisticated investor, not just a landlord. So that's a really big thing for me. There's a big difference between a landlord and an investor. So just tips to keep your tenants renting longer, how to get in the business, how to do it right.
So, Matt, as you're on your journey on this successful career, are there any specific things that you're doing differently now because of all the personal growth that you experience?
Yeah, for sure. My marketing, that's the biggest one I can say is, like you said before, talking about specializing in a specific niche, really driving my marketing towards that niche. So before, when I started as a realtor, I was doing what's called shotgun marketing. So I was just marketing everywhere I could to everybody I could. So on Kijiji saying, I can help you buy a house, sell a house, flip a house, whatever. So that wasn't very good. So when I shifted my focus to investors, which is what I always knew I wanted to do, that's when the business got better for me. So that's something, that's a huge personal growth for me.
So how long did it take you for that learning curve to set in to your psyche?
Yeah, a long few months. So it really clicked in though once it happened. But yeah, well, it was a waste of time doing stuff like that. So that's what a lot of people do in their businesses, right? They just market to everybody. But it's actually not the way to do it. When you market it to a specific type of person, those people are going to put you as the expert, and they're going to call you. So it's a big difference, right? Especially for a realtor.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, marketing costs are probably one of the biggest outlays of cash in most businesses. So I think focusing on a niche market is, the primary goal for sure to optimize the dollar. Now, Matt, everyone's journey is different. We know that. But I think one thing that successful people seem to have in common is that they maintain their motivation and they stay committed to behaviors of success. So, like over a long period of time, I think that can be a challenge for many of us. And
yeah, for sure.
I think that's probably easily represented in New Year's resolutions. I think the failure rate of New Year's resolutions, lucky for most of us if we make it through the month of January on those resolutions. Yeah. So what are some of your ways of helping people to stay motivated and committed to their future especially if they're tending to put off investment decisions?
Yeah, just keep focusing on the dream you want. Even writing down personal goals every day or something, like have a 3-month goal to achieve and write that goal down every day when you wake up, something like that. Or just review your goals. Like for me, I have my personal beliefs, which is basically a personal goal that I want to achieve, and I have it up in my office, so I see it every day. I also have a little collage for yearly goals that I want to achieve. That's up in my office, so I see those things every day. So that keeps you on track, keeps you focused, and gives you a reason to keep going.
So you're a big believer in affirmations and vision boards.
For sure, exactly.
And what do you think is the one thing people can do today to take that first step toward having more success in their lives, just generally?
Yeah, it's just be motivated. I mean, there's no secret. It's just a matter of doing, right? Everybody wants to do something, but most don't. So it's just a matter of actually doing it, taking action. So if things like vision boards help you or writing your goals, then you should do it. That keeps you on track. You
have certainly attained a lot of the skills that you talked about, the two special mentors in your life when you were in your carpentry career, in that part of your life, and how those mentors really affected your life to kind of push you and challenge you. How important is it for us to surround ourselves by good mentors? Yeah, it's the most important thing in order to achieve your goals. I mean, you have to be around people who motivate you or are doing the same thing as you are, because you'll notice once you start doing things that are successful or doing things differently, a lot of people are going to put you down. Your friends won't really connect with you anymore, things like that. So it's really important to be with people who are doing things that you're doing or who want to do things that you're doing. How have your friendships changed? Yeah, my core close friends are the same. It's the same stuff, but I notice more so acquaintances when they see me doing stuff, or we just don't connect anymore, or they're doing completely different things. Yeah, when you post blogs or whatever, people always crap on it, right? Just to be because they're bored. I don't know, but you'll find things like that. It's just normal, right? KWPropertyPro.com is where you can find some terrific resources and put you in touch with Matt Piche. Matt is a real estate investor. He specializes in single-family investment properties, and he is the man to talk to about investments, especially if you're thinking about doing it for the first time. We all need a little bit of hand-holding going through such an important investment. So I encourage you to get in touch with Matt Piche. Matt, one last question for you. Yep. Here on the Good News Only, we are committed to bringing people more positive media, more of the good stuff in life to help them have a better frame of mind for dealing with all those realities of all those negative messages we hear in the world. How important do you think it is to listen to more positive media? Yeah, it's definitely a must-have. If you're wanting to be successful in whatever business or life you want to do so, it's very important to meet people who are happy and are going to push you towards your goals. Reading books to help push your business or push self-development is very important to surround yourself with good news. Excellent. And on that note, Matt Piche, thank you so much for your time and your expertise. I really appreciate spending this hour with you, Matt. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Matt Piche is a real estate investor, certified carpenter, and RE/MAX realtor in KW Cambridge, specializing in single-family investment properties. You can find him at www.kwpropertypro.com. You're listening to The Good News Only. I'm Tanya McIntyre, and I encourage you to take a media fast. Don't watch, listen to, or read news from mainstream media. Take the diet that will really improve your life. The Good News Only on A to Z.FM.